What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. As always, I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at SerpWatch. SerpWatch tracks SEO rankings with keyword monitoring and data cross-referencing that includes revenue, featured snippets, and Google Analytics. It is on AppSumo right now, starting at $59 for a lifetime deal. There are currently 24 reviews, holding steady at 5 tacos. That's a big deal. Before we dive into the walkthrough, I'm going to go over just a few quick things. The first is that if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're interested in SerpWatch, a little bit about your use case, we do love to hear that over in the chat room. The second thing is that if you want to ask us any questions about the tool, the deal, anything like that, you can go ahead and leave those questions in the Q&A box down below this video. We will circle back to those at the end of the walkthrough, but we also have some members of the SerpWatch team here on standby to answer those live. The third thing is that if there's a replay of this available, so if you need to step out, that's okay. If you want to watch this again, that's okay. Hello to the people in the replay. I hope the future is pretty cool. All right, that's it for me. Hey, Josh, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I am very excited to have you here and dive into this today. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you for the walkthrough, but let me know when you're ready for the questions.
Okay, so I'm going to share screen here, and we'll do this one. So yeah, welcome everybody. This is SerpWatch. We built this tool because we had some very specific needs as we were doing a lot of SEO for performance marketing reasons, and then also as for client management as well. So yeah, we kind of found a couple of issues that weren't really addressed in the marketplace, and we thought like we might put something together internally, and then it turned out to be interesting for other people. So that's kind of the background story on SerpWatch. So I'll give you a quick tour. Here is the dashboard, and this is just kind of an overview of all of your projects. And in each one of these, you can dive in and have all of your keywords available. So here we have 5 or 6 keywords that we're monitoring. And then we have this, what we're calling the SerpWatch score. So this is kind of like an average rank graph, but with a little bit more flexibility. So what you can do is if certain keywords are more important to you than other ones, those might be like revenue driving keywords, you can set them as the higher priority, and then your graph will adjust based on that. And then also here we have some Google updates overlaid directly on the map, so on the report. So, you know, this is a good example here. It looks like there was some sort of potential algorithm update, and then there was a big influx and change in our rankings. So you can take a look and read into what that's about. And we're scraping this from various SEO sources. So if you want to dive into the full article, you can jump in over there and see anything that's related to that. And then those same reports are overlaid on all of your other graphs. So you can see if there was suddenly some big influx in the revenue. Was that a result of a Google algorithm update? Yeah, and then we're also tracking live SERP features. So you can see here, this keyword is in the featured snippet, and this will give you an overview of which featured snippets all of your keywords are currently in. So we currently have 3 keywords that are in the SERP features. And of course, Google Analytics can be integrated. We don't actually have that set up on this project. Let me jump into another one. So the goal of this, this is called Intelligence Hub, is to kind of have, you know, we had a lot of issues with all of the various metrics that are related to SEO being scattered across different tools. So we're trying to be kind of like the Tableau of SEO metrics, so we can bring it all in one place. Take a look at Google Analytics on this project. So yeah, this is websitebuilder.org.uk. And so here again, we can see any kind of traffic fluctuations, and we can compare those potentially to our rankings, our revenue. A big job of an SEO is always to try to reverse engineer the rankings. So yeah, that's why we try to put all of these metrics in the same place. And here's a downswing in traffic, and we might want to take a look at what was was that Google's fault? Was that our fault? So yeah, that's the project view, and then we'll jump in over here to the keyword view. So here you can see there's a featured snippet, and we'll jump into this one. So what's really great that SerpWatch does that other tools do not is we actually track historical rankings of the SERP features. So here we can see what days that we're in the SERP features and potentially how that affects your, let's say, like Google Analytics traffic. Oh, not set up there again. But anyways, this would show, potentially very often you jump to the top of the rankings suddenly if you are in the SERP features. So you can see if that has some sort of influence on your traffic. And then another great thing is we have a screenshot feature here. So we're actually for the last 10 days taking a look, an actual capture of your screen, of your rankings. And this is, there's a big problem in this space, which is like everybody's very skeptical of rankings. So we're doing everything we can, the accuracy of the data. So we're doing everything we can to ensure that, there's ways to verify. And then also if you do find any discrepancies, then you can just report an issue here. And this actually pops right into our Slack channel, and we investigate the issue immediately in our engine. So yep, that's a pretty nice ad. So then at the keyword level, you have revenue metrics. Of course, you have rankings, so you can see when you're fluctuating. You have your competitor rankings here. So you can also, if you want to focus in a little bit, you can remove some of these guys. So you can take a look. If there's a competitor that you want to add that's not being tracked, you can add that competitor here. And that'll cost, the usage will be based on what is the parent keyword. So for this one, it would be most expensive domain names. So that's roughly the keyword tracking. And then another great feature, which is kind of almost half the tool, is the client management abilities. So if we jump in over here, we got client management. So we set this up kind of like AppSumo was an SEO agency. So we customized the branding. So originally it kind of looked like this or like this, but then you can update your branding with these little handles here. You can add some specific stuff about the agency. And then the great part is that you can give your clients a particular login just like this. So here they are. This is what your clients would see when logging in. And you can manage your clients here. So let's say that Nicola is one of our customers. So you can add clients, and you have various languages in which you can portray the dashboard to them. And so you'll log in as the client, and then you can add keywords. Currently, we don't have the ability to let the clients add keywords, though that's been requested, so we're considering that. But we thought maybe you want to manage the usage and not give that full access to the clients. So here you can add a project just like you would in the normal dashboard. And you can administer your clients. So you can edit the project, clone the project, and you can actually set up notifications. So we didn't cover this quite yet, but we have notifications directly to Slack. Let me give you an example of that. So for example, SerpWatch is tracking various SEO related keywords. And here we have, these are keywords, these are our fluctuations in the rankings. So for example, we hit an all-time high SEO tracker, and actually we very often have like conversation around that, like, and it's kind of cool because we tend to have like very detailed discussion about these particular movements in the rankings. And those have proven to be very valuable in terms of our optimization strategies. So that you can also set up for your clients here. And we also send the email, of course, but so you can set all of that to them. You can turn off notifications if you don't want them to be having information. And here's the certain sensitivity settings around the notifications. So you can say what time of day, you can say like how many times the position must rise to get a notification, so on and so forth. You can get alerts about drastic drops, and we've accidentally de-index some of our pages before. So this, we often wouldn't find out for like a month or two. So this has been really helpful in kind of being very proactive instead of reactive in terms of SEO issues. So yeah, so back to the client's view. So this is what the client will see when they log in, and I'll give you an example of exactly how it looks, but essentially you as the agency would administer from here, and they have basically the same view that we were looking at earlier in the other dashboard. So let's go to SerpWatch.io. So right now I'm logging in as the client. And so this is what the client sees. The client has 2 projects in here. And as you can see, some of their controls are gone. So they can also set up their own notifications. And they can see all of their rankings in real time. And kind of the use case behind this is like, there's been a kind of a problem with the client agency model in SEO. SEO takes a very long time and it's a very long-term investment. So a big part of retaining agency clients is to make sure that you're kind of keeping them in the know. So I think giving them this transparency has been very helpful with keeping clients from churning. I think, you know, maybe it helps extend the, those few important extra months right before they start ranking and seeing the return on investment from their efforts and your efforts. So yeah, basically that's a rough overview of the product. I'm Lindsay, if you have any specific questions or anything, I'm happy to answer. Oh, I guess I should give you a view of the roadmap as well.
Yeah, let's do that. That was definitely going to be one of the questions I was going to ask. So,
okay, yeah. So actually the next version is almost 70–80% complete. We were hoping to launch it for AppSumo, but it wasn't quite stable enough. But some of the big values is going to be local rank tracking. We're going to kind of give like a little bit more flexibility to Intelligence Hub and the dashboard in general. We've been asking for a lot of customization ability. A lot of people want different metrics and that sort of thing. So it's all in here. And actually we have like videos of a lot of it, since most of it's really already made. So you can jump in and take a look at a video if you'd like to. And yeah, that's the gist of the roadmap.
Great. So we have some questions here in the Q&A box. Sumolings, if you have any question, now is your time to submit them. All right, in the client portal, is it possible to hide the chat?
Hide the chat. Sorry, I don't know exactly what they mean by the chat.
Cool. If the anonymous attendee who submitted that can give a follow-up. How many projects do you get per client?
You can add unlimited projects per client. You pay for the client portal. And then Sumolings, depending on how many codes they stack, get different amounts of portals. I think the maximum is 20 for 5 codes.
Awesome. The follow-up was the chatbot. I'm gonna guess the little bubble at the bottom right-hand corner.
No, we don't, because we wouldn't want to interfere with your process and answering questions to your clients. So that won't be in the, that won't be available to your clients.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can we add our team as users?
We don't have permissions in this version, but in version 2, we're going to have permissions. So you'll have more flexibility around that.
Cool. Let's say the AppSumo offer is gone and I want to track more keywords. How would I do that?
So we do have our pricing model is here. You can just go to SerpWatch.io/pricing. And this is our pricing model. So it's flexible and scalable depending on your needs, and you can upgrade or downgrade anytime that you would like.
Neat. I like this question. Can you talk about how a solopreneur can use your product to grow their business?
Yeah. So it depends on what space you're in. One of the things about SEO is you have to be kind of an established space already. So I would say that you could use the keyword suggestion tool, check out if there's keywords available to you that you could potentially add that could drive traffic to your website. Regardless, I think even for your branded terms, you want to know whether somebody a competitor isn't outranking you on your particular brand, that could be kind of detrimental. So yeah, there's a couple of use cases there for sure.
Cool. Melanie says that was the person who asked. She says that it's an education tutoring center. I feel like there's some SEO in that world.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know the space exactly really well off the top of my head, but you know, like education is a massive space in SEO.
Yeah. Is this working for Google.pl in Poland? Can you track also different currencies?
Yeah, so we don't have the currency implementation yet, but that will be fairly simple to add. That's just, that code is already built and on the web. So as far as Google.pl, yeah, we track all geolocations and all languages. So you shouldn't have any issues there.
Great. How many team users will Sumo Links receive with version 2? And is there any ETA?
There is no limitation on the number of users for Sumo Links. And here at the top of the roadmap, you can see that this is intended to be done by Q1 of 20, oops, this should say 2021 actually. Yeah, so this was, yeah, we'll fix
Cool.
that.
I opened the floodgates. I said Poland, and now we're going to find out every country that people are calling in from today. So
Yeah.
the first one that we got is this working with Google.fr for France? What can you tell us about all of these?
Yeah.
All of the countries. What do we got?
Yeah, we'll answer them all in one shot there. We track all countries, all languages. We have Cyrillic in there. You know, we have Greek lettering. We have everything. So don't be concerned with that.
Great. Instead of adding our keyword, is it going to have a feature to suggest keywords for tracking?
Yeah, so we're expanding on that functionality. As of right now, you can do that here when you add a project. Let's see. See, we can get a couple of these other questions. How granular is your local keyword tracking going to be? Yeah, down to the city level, down to the zip code, down to the longitude and latitude.
Amazing. Is there an option to white label SerpWatch? That's the other one.
Yes, there is. So you can put it on your own domain name, and I should have covered that in the agency portal here. Looks like we're having a little bit of bug right now. We got a pretty heavy load at the moment.
I can imagine.
So I'm sure the devs are scrambling in the background to take care of that. And meanwhile, I'll keep answering some of these questions.
Cool. Are you GDPR compliant?
As far as we know, but we're going to continue to get closer and closer to that. We're kind of a startup, so we're not in the know about every single detail in GDPR, but we're doing what we can. So soon enough.
Sumo Links, if you have any more questions, we're getting to the bottom here. If you want to send them in, go ahead and do that in the Q&A box. There have been some concerns about wrong search volumes. Is this something you're aware of and fixing, and what's happening?
Yeah, this is kind of in the SEO community, a pretty debatable topic. Sometimes the metrics are a little bit ambitious. For example, we once ranked one for a site that we thought was had 20 to 30x the volume than it did. So we initially took kind of a conservative approach to this and thought, you know, we would give more, you know, conservative metrics. But it seems that the feedback that we're getting from AppSumo is that's not ideal, especially for SEO agencies that are trying to show, you know, put their best foot forward with their clients. So we're in the background, we're tweaking that metric, and we're going to give you guys an update on that soon here.
Great. I don't want to go into like every competitor that y'all have. The one that we got here is how do you compare to Uber Suggest? I'm just curious how you stand apart from your competitors, and what do y'all offer?
Yeah, I think Intelligence Hub is a big factor. I'm definitely trying to bring all the metrics into one place from various various different angles. Definitely, I think as far as customization of the white label portal, I haven't seen a lot of tools that do any kind of white label, much less you know, customization so that you can represent your own brand. And as we were trying to show the white labeling, so you can put it on your own domain. So it would essentially be like appsumo.com/client login. So there's very few tools that have that availability, and especially with the kind of pleasant UI as well.
Awesome. Love that. All right, we got a couple roadmap questions. On the roadmap, you had a task about Rank API. Will it be possible to get the ranking data via this new API?
Yes, it will. Local results as well, global results. And we're going to, the same way the usage is monitored for the in-app keywords, it's going to be based on that as well. So you can do a hybrid of having in-app and also API.
Awesome. Corey asks, what were the gaps in the market that caused you to create this amazing product?
One of the major concerns was definitely the rank accuracy. So that's why we've put a lot of attention onto that. And you made the screenshots tool. Plus, if you really want to get into the details of how we're doing that, we have this verify rank data information here. The developers came up with a pretty nifty image recognition technique with those screenshots to verify the data. One thing that I think needs to be addressed, though, is that the UI of Google's and other search engines are constantly being updated and changed. So to say that you're 100% accurate without a systematic approach to kind of adjusting to those changes, I think is probably outside the realm of reality. So yeah, that's kind of our commitment, to be like iterative and be able to constantly upgrade to whatever's going on.
Awesome. Also with the roadmap, everything's the roadmap. The roadmap mentions you're looking into tracking YouTube. How likely is it that you start tracking YouTube considering what you know right now?
So it's not a hard adjustment for us already, considering we already built an engine around aggregating data. So I see, because it's in considering. Yeah, it's very likely. I mean, the more feedback we get about it, the more likely we are to build it. So please, if you're in the Facebook community or whatever, and you have a really big need for that, let us know about it and how you see it working. We'd love to get it mocked up and get your feedback on it.
I like YouTube rankings. I can tell you AppSumo needs them.
Yeah.
It's something we look into. Yeah, so why not? Do you plan to add a mobile app?
That is in consideration. We were waiting to see how much the community wanted it, but definitely we check our rankings on the go all the time. I mean, I personally spend I'm probably logging into a mobile app 2 or 3 hours a day checking rankings. So definitely, we need to, I think, get that on the roadmap eventually.
Cool. Do you have tutorials that walk us through how to set all this up?
Yeah. So on the fly, we've developed some pretty expansive documentation. You can just go to help.serpwatch.io, and it's all here. If you're not finding something, we're adjusting quickly. Whenever we get a chat support question that we haven't addressed, we immediately add it into the documentation. So check back here all the time. It's growing and growing.
Awesome. I love it. Can we set the time when ranking data gets updated?
That's an interesting question. You can't set the time specifically. The way the algorithm works is it's basically a big queue of everybody's rankings and it's going through them. What you can do if you want more up-to-date information is you can change the frequency. So you can very often, like, you can check every 6 hours, every 4 hours, even up to hourly. But of course, that consumes more usage. So you'll want to be careful with how you use that.
Awesome. And those are all of the questions that we have. So we can go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for concise and thoughtful walkthrough. This has been wonderful. Sumo links, if you have not already, you can redeem your code for SerpWatch at appsumo.com/SerpWatchIO. It is starting at $59 for a lifetime deal. And of course, it's backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. So you can go ahead, set it up, play around with it, see how this works for you. Once you have done that, we do love to hear all of your reviews. Like I mentioned earlier, this already has 24 reviews and sitting pretty at 5 top. tacos, and recently entered the shop. So that's really exciting for them. And if you have any more questions, of course, you can always leave those questions on the deal page as well. Thank you so much, Josh, for hanging out with us and walking us through everything.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.